Have you been rocking that same hairstyle for years and want to change up your look? Or have you recently had a bad color experience where you went through all those hours of sitting in the stylist chair only to feel like your hair didn't turn out right? So I've actually experienced both. And let me just say, as a personal stylist, I can help you with all things fashion, but hair is not my specialty. I also don't do interior design. I also don't do beauty, but I am very picky when it comes to a personalized experience or customer service because I've been in the industry for years. My biggest pet peeve is when a hairstylist asks me what I want because I know what I'd like to have my hair look like, but I don't know if it's good for me. There's a huge difference. I can see pictures, I can look at people and be like, you know what, she looks really good and I would like that. But if it looks good for me, I'm not quite sure. And I do the same with clients. I tell them, like, you can admire someone's style from afar, but if you try that on yourself, it doesn't work for you. But in hair, I don't know how to interpret that. When I do work with a stylist, I know that I want real honesty. I want somebody that's just going to tell me up front, like, what works for me and what doesn't. And it's not going to hurt my feelings. I just want to know. I thought that all of this was asking too much because I hadn't met a stylist that would do this for me. They always tell me, oh yeah, I could do exactly what you're looking for. I have gone to salon after salon working with quote unquote the top stylists, and I was just not impressed because I felt like they were giving me a look that maybe they were just giving everybody. It didn't feel like something unique or different. And last year I was all in. I was ready to dye my hair because I had virgin hair until last year. My 35th birthday was coming up, and I was feeling like I've had this look for way too long when it comes to hair. And I was ready to spice it up. I wanted something different that was dramatically different, not like a little bit, just dramatic. And to prepare for this session, I did what my clients do with fashion, and I created a Pinterest board with all the ideas. I added a ton of images of JLo because she's hot and her hair is hot too. I love the way that her stylist gets her hair right every time. It's like flawless and always pretty, and it's never super dramatic in difference on how it looks. She has her go-to. She does the ponytail, she does the bun, and then she does the long wavy hair, and it looks wonderful. And I wanted something like that for myself. So when I showed the hairstylist my photos, she was like, perfect, I know exactly what to do. I didn't really get much of a consultation or anything. It was just like, let's dive right in. And my hair got colored in hours. And if you've gotten your hair done for the first time, you know it takes a very long time, especially with dark hair when they're trying to lighten it. It's a big process. And when it was done, I looked in the mirror and it felt off. I didn't know what it was that felt off. I just knew that it was different, but I'm not sure if it was a different that I was looking for. But with time, I got used to it. I did feel younger. It did feel fresh. But there was still that little thing of something's missing that I don't really know about. And today's episode is wonderful because I am going to share with you the importance of finding a good stylist and how to do it. I want to save you time and the hassle and the not so great experiences so that you can find someone that you connect with and that cares about your hair goals. And the way I ended up finding my stylist in the end is Zyra, my communications and PR gal, reached out to Salon 8, and it's like everything matched up. Their exceptional customer service, growth as a stylist through continuing education and customizing a hair plan that looks good on you. I am so excited today to have Kat on the podcast. She's a hairstylist full of knowledge and zest. When you meet her in person, you will just fall in love. Kat's love of hair started as a kid, braiding friends' hair or cutting and coloring Barbie's hair. It was only natural she found a way to turn it into a job. 16 years in the hair industry, she still finds a deeper love and passion for it every day. Having trained with industry icons like Graham Breakwell, Stephen Moody, and Victoria Thurman Hall, she has grown her techniques and thrives towards always delivering the highest quality work. What she says is, I don't copy and paste, and that's her motto. She believes in enhancing, tailoring, and creating the perfect look for your skin tone, bone structure, and lifestyle. A perfectly tailored suit is always better than a suit off the rack. So, why wouldn't you believe the same for an accessory that you never take off like your hair? That's what she said. And Kat is full time behind the chair at 8 Salon in Bellevue, Washington, where she is a color director, mentor, and international educator for AZ Craft Luxury Hair Care. If you've been struggling with your own hair or feeling like you need some kind of hair makeover, this episode will give you all the information you need, regardless if you're in the state of Washington. Our conversation topics include what's the difference between a junior hairstylist, master stylist, and all the other names that they put to hairstyling, and how do you decide what's best for you? Who should you even work with? The best use of your hair inspiration boards, kind of like what I briefly mentioned, and why your face shape, body, and age are important factors in how you color and cut your hair. Plus, so much more. Let's get into it. I am so excited to be here with you today because, I mean, besides the fact that we just got to party this weekend and
Right.
have so much fun, and you came in like all bright in like your blazer. It was like the modern Clueless. I loved it.
Yeah, no, well, thanks for having me. I'm really excited. I was particularly excited, yeah, after there's no better way to connect with somebody than like, let's go play together, let's party, let's dress up, let's look awesome, and then now let's chat. Let's do stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it was great. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having us there that night. We had a great time.
And I wish my hair was like more on point today and last time, but that is why you are here. So we want to just like dive in and talk about hair issues, how to find a great stylist, what you're all about, what Salon 8 is all about. And just to give a little background information to our listeners, I have been, and nobody knows, I've been talking about it recently with my team. Like I have been in search for years for a hairstyling place where I can just take clients to and refer them to. And I'm not loyal with any hair person. Sorry if you're listening, because I know some of them might be listening that I've gone to. 'Cause I've been to many places in the past 3 years getting my hair cut, hair colored with different people. I have not stayed with the same person or salon because I just haven't had the best experience. I haven't been very happy with um like their expertise and how they can help me. It's usually like, and I think we should start on that. Like my pet peeve is when I go into a salon and they're like, "Do you have your Pinterest board and what do you want?" And I'm like, "You know what? I could look at Pinterest, but I don't know because my hair is frizzy. It's like it's kind of curly depending on like what happens with it when I shower in the morning, what I do with it." But I'm like, "I don't know. What do you recommend?" And when I ask them for their recommendation, it's like they kind of get stuck and don't know where to go from there. So I kind of want to start with that. Like, why do other salons do that, and how do you guys do things differently?
I can't speak to other salons and their integrity and their culture, right? But I can definitely speak to ours. And, I think the thing that differentiates Salon 8 in general is that we are all about tailoring to your bone structure, your skin tone, and your lifestyle, right? So finding that like trifecta of what that means. And one of the biggest things you'll hear me talk about consistently is the consultation. So, as an educator and a mentor, I myself find myself constantly preaching about this. And a consultation, in particularly with your hairdresser, should be no different than a first date. No different. And what I mean by that is you are coming in and you are sharing and getting to know each other, right? So, from our perspective, we always have to be listening and asking the right questions, right? You, as the client, don't know what you don't know. And one of the most detrimental things is maybe even thinking as a client that you know more than you do. So, for example, with things like Pinterest and Instagram and all of these things, you have people coming in saying, I want a balayage, right? But like, do you know what a balayage is? Do you have the canvas? for the balayage to be the perfect technique for you, you know? So a lot of times when a client sits in my chair, for example, and they're like, I want a balayage, I'm like, what do you want to see? When you say balayage, what do you want to see? Right? Because the technique, that's my job. The overall effect of what you want to see and then how I customize it to you, my job. You
Yeah.
just need to see it and you need to love it, right? Um, I think the secondary thing is that differentiates us, and again, this is no shade in any way, shape, or form, is, there's a difference when we talk about, I'll use chefs and cooks, for example, right? Are you a short order cook or are you a Michelin star, like, kind of chef? Who are you, right? So are you going in and having somebody like, I want a cheeseburger with French fries and this and that? Or are you saying, give me that three-course pre-selected meal? I'll take the chicken,
I love
right?
that.
Like we are that. That's who we are. We're not printers, we are artists. We're here to customize. And most importantly, we're here to emphasize your best you. Why would you want to look like somebody else when there's something that suits you so much better? And suitability and consultation and questioning and just making that connection, again, just like you would in a first date. We constantly preach, you go on a first date because a lot of times you're looking for a partner for life, right?
Mhm.
Hair is kind of the same way. If you're building that relationship really well with your clients. I mean, I have clients that I have had before they could drive who have now graduated college, now have their big jobs, now getting ready to get married. I mean, years, right? And it's like there should be this like really beautiful trust and combination of like what is best for you. And as somebody that sits in my chair, I have your best interest always,
And
right?
I want to even add to that, you even mentioning that, and I've gone through that same experience because I've been in business for 14 years. I'm with clients that change careers, get divorced, have baby, like they go through this whole transition all the years I worked with them. And you do create a relationship with the people that you trust. And to get to that point with somebody, like when you've been with someone for many years, you're also later able to recommend because you know them, you know their life, they talk about things with you, so you're able to recommend and know their hair and them. And you're like, you know what? Now you've come in, you're going through this or whatever. Maybe we could try this time,
Mm-hmm.
like kind of guiding them through it as well because we get stuck in comfort. And that's something I've done for years. Like I recently got my hair colored last year for the first time. I had virgin hair, never did it. And I pulled the trigger. For me, it was I turned 35. I did want a dramatically new look. And I knew that coloring my hair was that. I was just way too comfortable in having my hair not colored because I was like, I won't have to deal with it, I won't have to keep up with it, but I was ready for it. And so I think, yeah, just going in and getting some kind of change because we get stuck in comfort for many years with our hair, with our style, all the things.
Yeah, and a lot of times, I think style, and I can't speak fully to style, but I know I can speak to hair. We tend to gravitate as humans towards where we felt our best, right? And so sometimes that's where I think people can get stuck in their look also, right? Which is like, oh, I always felt my prettiest hair was long and blonde, right? But, as we get older and we mature and things change and things start to alter a little bit, we have to stop and think, does the 16-year-old version of me still look great on the 35-year-old version of me, right? Because I'm a whole new woman now, and something that, you have to keep in mind is gravity is a thing.
Oh,
Right? Gravity is a thing. And what lines do, and particularly with haircuts and even accentuation of color, is they accentuate and point to those things. So sometimes, like, you think I look long and awesome with like, all of these extensions and these two painted pieces and all of this, right? It's young, it's modern, it's hip. But is it? Because that's a recurring trend that happened when you were 16. But now we're 35, meaning now we kind of actually look like we're stuck,
yeah.
right? So now instead of being like young and hip, we actually like are starting to go into the like, oh, we're trying too hard, right? Where does the sophistication come into it? Where does the growth come into it? How do we evolve that look the way that we have grown and changed and elevated ourselves also, right? And so again, there are so many times where somebody will say, hey, like, I feel like I have, if I kid you not, everybody will sit in your chair and tell you they have a round face. And just so you know, in my 17 years of doing hair, I have seen maybe two. two real round faces. So again, that goes back and you don't know what you don't know, right? You're like, oh, this is my face shape. This is what it is, right? So, but they'll say I have a really round face, so I could never pull off short hair. But then I'm like, actually, just so you know, if we brought that line up and accentuated that finer point right in your jawline, your face will lose like what feels like 5 pounds. You will actually look slimmer. You will look younger. You will look happier. Everything, those lines is like the cheapest facelift you will ever give yourself.
I love that. You were speaking what I speak in fashion, but I never thought about it in hair. I never knew that where your hair hits, where the color hits. Never even thought of that. So for me, when I go and get my hair done, I know I need to get my hair done because I keep looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, something feels off. And that's what people tell me with fashion too. Like they start putting their clothing on, and because they don't know the words to associate it with, but they know something feels off. But it is usually like, you know what? I'm putting on my clothing and I feel like a version of me I'm not anymore. It's not fitting my life. So I'm putting these clothes on, but I'm not going into the office anymore. I'm showing up this way, or my life is like this, and they don't know how to put the words together. Kind of like me and hair, and you're doing it for me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I just know. I look in the mirror, I'm like, this just isn't working anymore. I need something done. So
Yeah.
talking to someone like you that can give you like all the things that you need to know to change it and update it is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Talk.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think the secondary thing that goes into that is also the trust and the comfort of the client. So, for example, yes, will I always give you the maximum recommendation? Yes. But here's something that you also, and I'm sure it happens a lot in styling and wardrobe and clothing also, which is I could give you the most perfect haircut and hair color that is just designed for you. It is your own personal brand of luxury on your head. But if you're not ready to change and see yourself different, it will never feel right for you. And
Mm.
so, again, as a stylist, not only have to design in that way, but we also have to be really intentional and mindful and being able to customize those things and where they're ready. So maybe it's like, okay, we're not ready to go that short yet. We're not ready to go that dark yet. We're not ready to go that red yet. We're not ready yet. Let's take baby steps to get there. And what's going to be our hair journey, right? So it's what is our hair goals journey with all of it?
I love that you do that. So I do that with clients too. Like you can see someone, like you said, for me with fashion, I know where I could take them, but I know where they're at, and you can't jump. You can't put them in this place where they feel like they're creating some kind of persona or something that's not them. So they have to step into it. So what I do with clients is I tell them, we're just gonna take your style to the next level, and then we'll build from that. So with the clients I've had for a long time, so fun to see their transformation, because you see a big transformation from where they started to where they end up being, because after they build that foundation to their wardrobe and they feel comfortable working with you and they start feeling into these pieces that they're wearing in outfits, the next time they come in, every single time, like, you know what, I'm ready to try something more bold. Maybe let's try a fun color. Maybe let's try that statement piece. Let's explore some cool jewelry. And you get to take them on that journey when you have that long-term relationship with somebody.
100%. But you know what the thing is too that I highly recommend to clients when they are coming in, because one of the first things that stood out to me that you mentioned was, you've sat in somebody's chair and the first thing they say is, show me your Pinterest board, right? Now, I will say having photos is very important. It's
Mhm.
very important. And here's why. Not because I'm going to copy and paste, because I'm not a printer in no way, shape, or form. But again, because of the amount of information out there that gets misconstrued into misinformation that then continues to, like, for example, how many times I can think of that I've had somebody sit in my chair and say, I want to be a cool blonde. I don't want to see warmth. I don't want to see this, right? And so there's a differentiation between cool, neutral, and warm,
Mhm.
right? And a lot of times when people say that, they're saying, hey, I don't actually want to see a whole lot of warmth, but I don't want to be Elsa from Frozen Blonde either, right? And so that's the example a lot of times I'll use where I'm like, okay, so you're thinking Elsa Frozen, and they're like, no, 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 that's like white.
Yeah.
But most people will say like, okay, they'll take you at face value, right? But that is what we call peer-to-peer conversation. When I'm talking to another professional, yes, I'm going to say like, hey, we're going to use this number box with this number this and this number that, because there is no box in our color wall that says Elsa Blonde. There is no box that says caramel or cappuccino,
Mhm.
right? Like, it's designed entirely different, right? Um, one of the things that I really, really encourage people to do is bring a photo so you can show what your cool looks like, right? I'm like, I don't care if you call it cool. You can call it violet, you can call it green. I will call it that too. I
Mhm.
just want to know what you want to see. Like, I
Yes,
don't
for
care
sure.
what you call it. I just need to know what you want to see. So I always suggest bring in photos of things you like, but most importantly, bring in photos that you don't like. And
That's
a lot of times there's a commonality in it. If you know what you want to see, you will find a commonality in all of the pictures that you like, regardless of how different they may seem,
mhm.
right? A good stylist will look at it and say, like, okay, so it's not so much the tone that she's liking, it's the amount of dimension and the high to low contrast. Or it's actually the styling behind it that she's liking more than the actual color placement because she already has that color. So, how can we teach her how to style her hair to get her there, right? And
Yes.
sometimes the verbiage that they're using actually of what they're asking for. So, for example, I want to be a cool blonde is actually aligned with the things that they keep showing you they don't want to see. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
And so it's like, okay, great. I hear you. You keep telling me that, you want to be a cool blonde, but every single one of the photos in your hand that you absolutely is a hard no are true cool blondes. So what you're saying is you actually want to be like a very natural. You were probably a blonde when you were a kid and you want to see that shade of blonde. That looks very natural, like you've been outside. That Pamela Anderson blonde with dimension. Yes, that's exactly what I want to see. Great. I was about to make your hair white.
Yeah, it's so Pinterest boards are very interesting. I agree. It is, you get a lot of information actually from somebody by looking at their Pinterest board. I don't have many clients that do it, but there's some that are like, let me show you what my Pinterest board is like. And I look at the pictures and they don't really align completely with what their goals are. So it's really diving in and it's usually a bigger picture thing. Like I worked with a client recently who had watched, she showed me YouTube videos that she liked and she showed me her Pinterest board. They were all very neutral, kind of boring. But the thing that was the overall theme with everything that she wanted was she wanted to feel chic and put together. But in her mind, she thought that she had to be stuck in neutrals and too classic, but she wanted something modern and chic and put together. So it was good to find like the describing words and see where she actually wanted to get to, but that was kind of like her comfort and safe place, but she didn't know how did she what she really wanted, if that makes sense. So interpreting
Mm-hmm.
those Pinterest boards is really interesting because you get to learn a lot about them and talk through it.
Yep, 100%. Again, it's like call it what you want to call it. And again, you probably experience this all the time also, because how many times have you had somebody say, I have a boho style? And you're like, actually, like, you're so far from boho. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's that same concept where there's so much information out there that it can actually be just as detrimental as helpful.
Yeah.
So being able to lock down that professional and being able to have that conversation and just have as much information about you as possible. And it doesn't even have to be a Pinterest board when it comes to hair, right? It could be like just screenshot a couple pictures
Yeah.
or like text me a couple pictures, but it always comes down to just being in that consultation and having somebody asking you the right questions to ensure that you're getting exactly what you need. Like what I preach in our consultations and how we do them is at the end of your consultation, your client should know what she expects to see, what she shouldn't see, what your focus is going to be, what products you're going to work on, and why you're going to use those products. You'll touch on them again later. And what the objective and the ultimate goal is. And she should still have room to ask questions, but she shouldn't
Yeah.
because she knows exactly what's about to happen and she's at ease. And that, I mean, that you should be excited and relaxed and be able to just be still at your appointment and enjoy yourself. Not be worried about like, what is this person doing to my
Yeah.
head? Did they get it? Like, I don't know what's about to happen. Like,
Yes.
so yeah.
because you're talking about that, I saw that you did a post on Instagram and I totally connected with it. So I kind of want to go into detail because it does have to do with the consultation, but um, there are so many different levels of a stylist. I don't know all of them, but I know junior stylist, I know there's master stylist, there's so many in between and
Mhm.
even before that. How do you figure out what type of stylist is best for you? Obviously, there's different price points, but on top of that, like how do you figure out what is best for you?
So again, it's a first date. It's a first date. You have to be able to schedule that consultation, look at their work, figure out if they're the right vibe for you, right? Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. One, yes, we chatted or on that post, we talked about titles and the importance of.
Mhm.
So, for example, by that logic, my title would be I am a senior stylist, color director, master color expert, plus international educator. That sounds like insane, right? So, like, naturally, you think, like, it doesn't matter what you bring to me. I'm going to drop my comb on your head and you get exactly what you want in 2 hours. That's not always the case because there's the science element behind it. But it's what I know that can educate me and help you be educated on why I'm about to tell you no, right? That being said, titles throughout the salon industry are can be kind of a free for all. Honestly, it can be kind of a free for all. There are a lot of businesses out there that it's based solely on their sales.
Yeah.
It's like some of these bigger corporate companies in particular. It's like, congratulations, this is how much you did in sales. You're in the next tier.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
that doesn't necessarily mean a you are like equipped to be at that. It just means you can make money,
Yeah.
right? And one of the biggest things that we really, really, really value in this space and in our culture is like, we value what the client wants and the client and being able to actually care for them aside from any kind of dollar amount. Yes, is it a job? But there's so much more to it, right? We create an emotion and experience. Like, it's entirely different. So on the opposite end, you have, people that can just give themselves their titles. I've been doing hair for 35 years, so I'm I should be a senior stylist,
Mhm.
right? Um, but haven't taken a class in like 25 years,
Yeah.
and haven't practiced their technique. For reference, I myself take consistent education. I actually have the assistants who are like, oh my gosh, who trains you? And I'm
Mhm.
like, I have like a crew of people that I consistently hire to keep me fresh
Yep.
regularly. And it's like, I will practice the same parting, the same section, the same technique. I will take the same class over and over again because repetition is excellence,
Mhm.
right? There's that Aristotle quote, right? You are what you repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. Like,
Mhm.
we live by that. And so, to get back to the original question, what does the title mean? The title doesn't always mean anything.
Yeah.
Your best bet is going to be to either A, look at their work. If they don't have a bunch of pictures on their Instagram or their Facebook, honestly, you might take that as a compliment because it means that they are so busy they do not have time to take photos. I
Mhm.
personally do not post a lot of photos unless it's my editorial work because I like, even with my assistant, like, he's too busy blow drying. He's too busy working on somebody. Like, we don't have time, right? We just don't have time. Um, Secondary, you really, really, really want to just every consultation is 15 minutes and usually complimentary.
Mhm.
Book it. Just book a complimentary consultation and chat with them. See if they are hearing you. See what they're asking you. If somebody says, yes, that's doable within like 3 minutes of your consultation, okay, great. Yeah, that's great. Like, I laugh because I'm like, be a little concerned.
Yeah.
Because it pretty much, again, if we reference it to that first date, imagine sitting down. Here are two of my biggest pet peeves. If a stylist starts touching your hair right away and you've never met them, how would you feel if this is a stranger? This is
Yeah.
a complete stranger. How would you feel if you went on a first date and like the person was just like, hey, and was all touchy and grabby? You would be like, this is icky,
Yeah.
right? It's the same thing. Like, you are strangers. You do not know each other. Like, let's talk, right? The secondary thing is if you sat down on that first date and he's like, so you want to get married and like make babies and let's go, you would be like, check, please. Like,
That
you
is so
would be
great.
out of there, right? So it's like you will feel that connection. You should feel heard. At the end of that consultation, you should walk away not only so excited, but knowing exactly what to expect and what is reasonable. And then obviously your budget. What's your budget? Like
Yeah.
be realistic in your budget. Again, like I said, I've worked with stylists that have been doing hair for longer than I've been born, that haven't taken education in years, and it's the most confusing and overwhelming thing. And then I have worked side by side with people that have been doing hair for less than 5 years that are the most technically sound people that I've been around.
Yeah. I
So yes, go ahead.
I love
Sorry.
that. No, I just love that completely. And what got to me from, and you mentioned what you talked about on Instagram about it really doesn't matter like the title. It is that connection you have. You want someone that is knowledgeable. And you know what, there might be, you know what, not to put people down, but there might be some people that are connected to the person that doesn't continue education. And they're like, yeah, I just like you because of you or whatever it is, which is fine. But being able to connect with the person is so important because for me personally, when I've gone to look at people with hair, I don't mind paying more, but there's some people that say that they're a master stylist or have been doing it like 14, 20 plus years. But then you look at them and their hairstyle and how they're dressing, you're like, I feel a disconnect. Like, are you not keeping up with yourself too? Because the way that you present yourself is really important. It shows like if you're even keeping up with the times or not, you know? And there's a lot of people that they get stuck in their status and they forget that you need to keep going and learning. And I truly, as someone who's been doing this for a long time, I truly appreciate someone that continually takes the classes and does the things. On top of fashion, I also take business classes. I'm also with my team all the time. We do monthly things where we like learn things from each other. We teach each other things that we're learning from our personal clients so we could all take that into consideration. I think that is such an important part of an environment. And wherever you're working, whatever you're doing, is just to keep on learning.
Yep, 100%. It's the growth, right? It's like if you're not growing, you're dying. So what are you doing?
Mhm.
What are you doing? And is that the person you want working on the one accessory that you never take off?
Yep. I know
Like,
it's stuck. That's how,
yeah.
that's how you're going to show up until it grows out and you can do something different with it.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, I just always say it comes down to the consultation, it comes down to the connection, and really let go of the title. Be reasonable within your budget and your price point. Like, hey, this is what I can maintain. Because again, you are in this. It's a first date. This is the kind of first date you're going into that, like, hey, I want to be your for lifer. You are like I'm
Yeah.
going to travel across the world and we're going to live in Italy and live our best life together and eat pasta and get chubby together and whatever, right? But like, that's what you're looking for with your stylist is you are looking for, like, are you somebody that I can commit to for 6 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should know that, right? If you're sitting down in your chair, like, yeah, great. This is something that you're going to have to maintain every 6 weeks. Is that like reasonable? Does it? Yeah, no, great, awesome, cool, right? It's like every look has an expiration date.
It does.
So, so do you want it to look fresh? Do you want it to look maintained, or do you want to get your money's worth and like have it not always as polished towards the end? Like, you know what I mean? That's something you have to communicate, and you have to be just as honest as you expect the stylist to be about it.
Yeah.
So, yep, budget, research, consultation. That's it.
And how do you know, and I'm sure people know, but it's a silly question, but how do you know you've had a bad haircut or a bad color or experience?
That is an interesting question, right? Because I think, as weird as it sounds, it's subjective, and most of the time it comes down to the experience. Sometimes somebody somebody can have a great haircut and just have had like a really crappy experience, and
Yeah.
it translates to the haircut, right? Like, I hated that how she shampooed my hair and she didn't talk to me, and like the blow dryer was too hot. But it's like you could have the most perfect haircut,
Yeah.
right? Another thing is it comes down to the expectations were not clarified in your consultation.
Hmm.
Haircuts, bad haircuts don't happen with your shears and your comb. Bad haircuts happen in the consultation.
Yeah.
Like, so the expectation just wasn't clear enough. Or like the results that were promised were not actually achievable, but your stylist didn't have the confidence to tell you, right? Let's think of hair as fabric,
Yeah.
right? If the hair, so for example, if the hair is fine, we're going to compare it to silk. It's going to be
Yeah.
soft. It's going to like drape a little bit. It's not going to have a whole lot of movement to it, right? Now imagine this silk comes in and says, "Hey, I want this thick curly beach waves." Like, and she has a picture, a back of the headshot she found on Pinterest with 10 pounds of extension, or that looks like your hair,
Yeah.
right? Thick, beautiful, luscious hair. And she's like, "This is what I want my curl to look like, but it doesn't look like, can you cut my hair like this? I need layers." Yeah, just so you know, layers again next to the round face are the most over requested things that are incorrect. Layers remove weight.
Yeah.
So if you are removing weight from a silk scarf, you are, you know what I mean? Like she needs that. She needs every bit of weight, right? And so it's not the haircut. It's the like, hey, actually, I think what you're loving in this is the styling. So because your hair feels more like silk, what we need to do is we actually need to get you the right products to ensure we can make your hair feel more like cotton and jersey so you can get that same fold that she has, even though her hair is a lot thicker and coarser. What you're liking is the hold and the style. The
Hmm.
stylist needs to be able to identify it. It comes down always to the consultation. Your bad haircut happened in your consultation.
And
And if it didn't happen in the consultation, it happened because your experience sucked and it had nothing to do with the hair.
I think the consultation, and you even mentioning that right now brought back a memory to me. Consultation does have a lot to do with it. Like I said, I've been to a lot of hair people the past couple of years, and there was one where I didn't get a consultation with her. I just went right in, I read her profile, I really liked it. I was like, you know what? She looks like someone I could work with. Bad choice, not going in for, and they did offer consultations, but I was kind of in a hurry to get it done. And I go in and we had zero connection. Like on paper, she looked really nice and everything, but in person, she wasn't that friendly. And not that you need to talk to your person the whole time because it's part relaxing, but we hardly talked. And when we did, it was like we didn't really have anything to talk about. And it was a long process because I was getting a lot chopped off and everything. It was just such an, it was like having an awkward date. And I didn't even get to have like that consultation with her. And at the end, I wasn't that happy with it. And there was one piece, I didn't notice it till a couple days later, but there was one piece that was slightly longer than the rest. And I was like, I've never had that happen. And I just kind of hit it, but then I started seeing myself in videos and I could totally tell that one piece was longer. So I messaged her on Instagram and she's like, oh yeah, come back in. And I was like, okay. And I go back in and I swear it was still longer. I'm like, is it just me? She was like a professional. I hired like top end and it was almost like maybe she had done it so long where this is where the styling name doesn't really matter. It's almost like she had been doing it so long there wasn't any passion in it anymore. And she was like, okay, let me fix it. And it was like, done. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Well, and you know what's even like what's crazy about what you just told me is even though you were in a hurry and you wanted to get in, if you have an appointment slot,
yeah.
15 minutes of that appointment slot, regardless, should be a consultation. Like,
Mm,
do,
mhm.
do you know what I mean? Like, every appointment, regulars, it doesn't matter how long I've been seeing you, what's working, what's not working, how did you like this? We adjusted the tonality. Are you still using this? What's different in your hair? Like, I mean, every time. So even if you're not separately booking a consultation and you book an appointment and you get right in, that consultation should still be
Oh,
happening.
oh,
Like
yeah.
it should still be happening. So the fact that it didn't happen blows my mind. Because again, I'm like, I reference it so much like a first date. This like blows my mind. You know, if you were on a first date, that would be so strange.
Yeah,
You
it
can't.
was strange.
It's strange. Like, okay, I'm just gonna start coming at you with sharp objects and chemicals. No big deal. Let's just do it. That's
Mhm.
wild to me, right? That's wild. But again, like it's the differences in what you want to see. You know, if you're just going in for a haircut, yeah. If you're going in for an experience, it's a different thing. But if you're needing a haircut and an experience, that's when you come to people like us.
Yeah, I love it. And
Yeah.
I have a lot of clients lately, especially after the pandemic. They are still very stylish, put together, love to dress up. But something I hear a lot of people mention when they're talking about what their goals are with their personal style is on top of all of that, they want more simplicity
Mhm.
and they want something that feels just comfortable. So when it comes to hair, is it possible to have simplicity and have really good hair?
Yeah, true luxury lies in functionality. Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. 100. I mean, let's. I like to reference designer bags because I love bags, right? But it's like a designer luggage if you think about it, right? If I can, I did a what's in my bag like video the other day just for fun because I stuff my bag like I'm Mary Poppins and everybody thinks it's hilarious. And I mean, there was an array of like, yeah, I have gummy bears and like a little bouquet of flowers in here and like things that aren't necessary, right? But that bag can hold up to 200 pounds without stretching. I
Ugh.
paid a pretty penny for that bag. I love her. She will do everything. If I bought that bag at Target, it would have broken months ago. Like I would have probably brought like 6 or 7 more, and in the process, probably paid more than what I paid for that bag. Yes. So can you be low maintenance or can you have functionality and simplicity? Absolutely. In fact, that's the whole point of having something customized to you, right? Is being able to have those hues that are working for your skin tone. If you have to work hard if you look washed out without makeup, your color's wrong.
Yeah.
Your
Ooh.
color's wrong. Like it just is. You know, if you have to overcompensate, makeup is there to enhance you. Your
Mhm.
hair is there to enhance you, right? So absolutely, it should be. The thing that we run into is leaning into your best you versus what's trending, what's hot, what's this celebrity wearing, what's this, right? You are not a celebrity, right? And what makes that look so good on her is that she trusted her stylist to customize it to her.
Yes.
And that is luxurious. And that is celebrity status. So if that's what you're leaning into, rise up to it and let's do it. Right? Stop trying to look like everybody else. What works for you? And then, yes, you will find that functionality and that luxury and that kind of hair that you're seeking. 100%.
I love that. That's such a great answer. And I tell people that too. Actually, the call I had before you was with my team, and Chloette, my lead stylist, was talking about an experience she recently had with a client. It went 1000% well. She found so many options for her. She liked them. And this doesn't happen often. I find it more when clients get a gift card from somebody, and this client got a gift card from somebody. It's not them investing in their own experience, but somebody felt like they needed it. So, a little bit of background. This client really struggles with pants, like to a point where she wants to cry. So, she didn't want to buy pants. And so I think it was her sister cousin bought her a gift card to look for pants. And she only bought in the time and all the pants that she tried on, she only bought two pants because she felt like she was on a budget. But something to keep in mind, and what I tell my clients, and Chloette reminded her too, and obviously you can't push anybody, but it is just a good reminder if you're investing in a certain experience, if you have struggled for so long and now you found 5 or 6 pairs of pants, it's like buy a little bit more because you're kind of just checking it off your list. You don't have to worry about it. You already know if you were to buy the Target pant, it's gonna fall apart. It won't fit right around your waist or it's too big in the
Mm-hmm.
butt and you've been suffering. So it's like it wasn't even like high-end pants, but they were mid-range. But if you've already like struggled so long, it's like get in the mindset of like you found it, somebody helped you find it. Like let's just buy it, and don't buy
Yeah.
more clothing for the next few months. But yeah, I'm all
Yeah.
for for
You
sure.
don't need more. You just need better.
Yeah, ex
Yeah.
exactly, with
Yeah.
everything.
With everything. And, again, like, being honest about, hey, what I can actually do and what my lifestyle, and that's why I always incorporate lifestyle into it, right? If I have somebody that says, you know what, I only get my hair done twice a year, I'm not going to go in with an aggressive foil and make them blonde and give them this line of demarcation. I'm going to be like, hey, maybe this is going to be the time where we lean towards like tones versus depth and lightness. So you don't have a grow out line and we can continue to maintain it. Or maybe this is the time where we just add a very subtle highlight. We go darker so then it brightens up on its own and you feel like you're getting touch ups until our next touch up. Right. So it's really just having that communication to be able to tailor to what it is not only you can do, you will do, and being honest with yourself. Don't say you're going to come in every 6 weeks if you're like, you know what, I'm a 12-week girl. Like, that's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine. We can work with that, but that just means we can't do X, Y, and Z because this is not going to look good in 6 weeks, right?
Mhm.
So again, it's just about really having that clear communication and just being able to understand the expectation and what is possible, right? And your stylist should be able to identify and help you with all of those things. And if they're not, then you're kind of just being treated like a printer or
Yeah.
like a, like a copy and paste. Do
Yeah.
you want to be a copy and paste or do you want to be your best you? Like your choice.
I think that our listeners are really connecting with everything you're saying, and I'm so excited for all the things to come. I feel like we could do events, we could have you on the podcast again. There's so much we can do. I feel like Salon 8 is very much on the level that I am with the clients and the experience that I offer for my own clients. So I kind of want to dive in so people could get to know you. I have loved your Instagram and
Oh,
call yourself the self-proclaimed hot girl serving hair goals and hot girl tips on Instagram. Let's talk about that. How did that come about? Because that intrigued me so much. I've been like just watching your videos, like, yes, yes, girl, yes, girl. Let's talk
that's so funny. Yeah, let's unpack that, shall we? Well, so the hair goals thing is just again always been something that like I preach because again, it's a journey, right? Especially like what 10, 15 years ago when some of that lived in looks or the high contrast looks started to come in, it was really important to be able to communicate with my clients of like, hey, it's a journey. This is what you can expect. This is going to take a little bit. And so the hair goals journey was born, right?
Mhm.
But the hot girl tips from a self-proclaimed hot girl. So it started off as a joke, honestly, because I was traveling to New York for holidays, and I was like, "Oh, let's just go spend like I like to take the last couple of weeks of the year off and just go live my life." Um, and you get all of these amazing pictures and whatnot, and I was like, I'm living my best quote influencer life, right? And so I was just like, you know what? It kind of started off as a joke where I was like, ooh, hot girl tip. But you're going to laugh because I was like, there's going to be that one person that for no good reason just decides they're going to try to rain on my parade and they're going to be like, who told you you're hot? And so I was like, I did, boo. I'm just going to call myself a self proclaimed hot girl. So I get it out of the way
Yeah.
for the person that already is going to try to rain on my sunshine, which you just can't do. You
Yeah.
just can't do. So anyway, the hot girl tips were born. So they actually just started off as like cool photos with little funny quotes and things like that. But then I was thinking about it and I was like, why not use this opportunity and this platform and like all the resources that are there to actually share these tiny things that not only can help a client but can also help like future stylists and generations of stylists, right? Like I love doing hair. I love everything about my industry, but like my heart always lies in just building others up in this industry because I've had the benefit of having so many people pour into me that I love to be able to continue and like raise this new level of stylists to just be not only elite but be able to be better than the next, right? I always tell them, like, my goal is to make you one of the best hairstylists in the world and have me running for my job on the regular. So bring it. Like, that is my job. That is my purpose, right? So the hot girl tips were designed to, be able to talk to a lot of my stylist following, but also be able to help clients in the journey of what do I look for? What should I think? Like what things that clients were asking me regularly anyway. I'm like, somebody's gonna want to know it. So why not put a funny tag on it and go from it? And I'm very satisfied with myself. So I'm like tiny hair flips. Yes, I'm a hot girl. Let's
Yes.
go.
Yes. And you know what, just hearing you talk about that, it lights me up. I think it's so important to just be yourself. The past short story, the past few years in my personal growth journey has been wonderful. And the more I've stepped into myself through all the work I'm doing, it's just interesting how it's allowed so many people around me to grow as well with clients and everything. And I
Mhm.
found that when you are more yourself and show up for the people in your life, it's so much easier for them to do that and give them permission to show up. And it's
Mhm.
just made a huge difference. It has been awesome. And so just seeing you light up, talk about that, it's like it just shows a big part of your personality. And I got to see that at the party, which is like you said in the beginning, like so wonderful. Like, yeah, let's party, let's play, let's have fun. You really get to see how people are like. Yeah, it's just awesome. I'm so glad that you're doing that and just lifting other people up.
Yeah, no, I love it. And to build on that authenticity thing that you just mentioned, um, yes, the reason we love the authenticity and we do what we do is because we've found so much happiness. And I mean, I'll speak for you and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when you can lean into who you are at your goofiest, at your this, at your that, and everything that you have to offer, visually, emotionally, spiritually, in your heart, and all of that in your mind, you are going to reflect that to other people and make them feel safe to feel like they're best them. And I think that's what's so powerful about the things that we can do in our industry is like being able to rise and lift people to feel like I don't have to be anybody but me. And not only is that enough, but that's my best excellence and that's my best everything. That is my best next. And I love that. So I think that's what's so cool about what we do and what we have the power to do and being able to authentically be ourselves in the process to hopefully like inspire everybody else to do the same thing.
Yeah, so important. I could talk to you
Mhm.
forever. I know we both
Yes,
have other calls that we have to do.
we
So
do.
I would love if you can tell everybody, and I will put, if you want to follow Kat and Salon 8, I'm going to have the links in the show notes so you can easily click and go. But can you share where people can find you and Salon 8 on Instagram?
Yes, of course. So you can follow us on Instagram. You can follow Eight the Salon, number eight the Salon, or you can follow me at Cat Katt period like meow. Yes, there's a story behind that, as there always is. Um, as there always is. Yeah, and just follow our journeys. If you want to come and visit, please feel free to call us. You can all go ahead and give you the number. So you can add that if you'd like. Book a consultation and just come experience it yourself. Enjoy an Americano, enjoy live music with our live DJ, and just enjoy the experience and get ready to lean into your best you.
I know I can't wait for my experience. I have to book my appointment, but I'm like, please fix my hair. I am
Oh
ready.
yeah, I have some ideas for you already. I can't wait. I actually like looked at you at the party and I was like, oh, I know, I know. Yep, I know what we're gonna play with. I know what I'm gonna
Awesome.
pitch. And then I know what we can go from there.
We're gonna have to do, and that's something I could document. We'll have to do like the before and in the consultation, like what we talked about that's not going right with my hair that I could talk about, and you can even share because you have a better visual and wording and sharing what you think is wrong with my hair, and then talk about like how we changed it and what it looks like now and why we did it. I think that's gonna be great
Mhm.
for people to see too, because we don't get to hear a
100%.
lot of the background of that. You get to see like this is before and after, but why? Like people don't know the why behind, and the why for me is important for everything. Like what was going wrong? Why did we change it? So I think we
Mhm.
should share that later on.
I'm like, I almost wish we would have just done a podcast on that, a full consultation on you today.
Okay, we're gonna do another one. Oh, that'll be fun. And then they'll be able to see. I'll do a before
Yep.
and after picture and we'll talk, it'll be a shorter podcast. But yeah, I think we should do that and talk about the before and after and why.
Yeah. On the next episode of
Stay tuned.
Yep.
If you loved
Stay
this,
tuned.
follow Kat, follow Salon A, and you'll be
Awesome.
notified for the next one.
Great. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you soon.
Ah, bye.
Bye. Thank you.
I love how our values are so in sync. It makes for a great experience for my clients that work with her team because it's like an extension of the personal styling process, but with hair. To give you a quick update, I did end up getting my consultation between the day that we did our interview and me recording this ending because my wedding is coming up. And oh my goodness, did I love the honesty that she gave me when she saw me. So we already talked together at the party and everything. And when she saw me, she was like, I know exactly what I want to do to your hair. Like, I have such a good idea, but let's talk about what your goals are. So I showed her my Pinterest board, the one with the JLo pictures on it and like the beach waves and stuff. And what she told me was, it was so wonderful. I know it sounds weird, but I love honesty. I love learning why and everything. And she went into it. So I learned that my hair is actually too light for my skin. So if you're watching YouTube, you can see what my natural hair color is. She told me that the coloring is off, so it's washing me out right now. And it needs to be a cooler tone. So this look is going to change. Also, she told me that I do need to add some layers to my face, and I wish I could recreate, but she showed me like where on my face, like with my bone structure, we need to create some layers in the front because this look I have now, again, if you are on YouTube, you can see this. This hairdo I have now is weighing me down. So for me, I do need some of the layers. The third thing that she mentioned is I know right now it's trending to have the center part, and I do try, and there was like controversy almost like skinny jeans and wide leg jeans with like the center part and the part to the side. And with me, she said that the side part actually is better. It creates more volume. It does go with my face better than just doing that like straight in between, which is awesome. And I really wanted to know that too, kind of like with skinny jeans and wide leg pants, like figuring out who can wear them, why try it. In this case, it is better for me to do the side part, and my hair naturally does that. So, you know what? I'm old school when it comes to that, I guess. But I want to do a follow up with Kat. I want to have her back on, and we're going to see the makeover and really talk about what she did. If you are interested, please subscribe to my podcast and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You'll be able to get updates every time there's a new episode, and you'll also know when part 2 comes out. It won't be out until next month because that's when I'm getting my hair done. But if you found this helpful, please take some time to give me a 5-star review. It would help so much to reach new people on this platform, to help them look and feel their best in everything that they wear. I mean, who doesn't love some good conversation with different people and tips to live a stylish life? Because I love talking about all the things. And if you've been on the podcast many times and listened to different episodes, you know, like, yes, it is about style, but it's also about life because it's all connected. I want you to continue building a life and style that truly reflect you. I'll catch you next time.